Welcome, r/EntitledParents. You already have a child, you should sell me your new baby. As much as I like this sub, I live in fear of having the opportunity to post here, and yet, here I am, with the realization that I have family that I can talk about in here. Warning, English is not my first language. This is the most manipulative and ugly, literally ugly, classist, racist person I've ever met. I've worked in customer service and do politics in a totalitarian government, so it's safe to assume I've already seen the worst of the worst. She is married to my uncle. Let's call her Mary. Mary has pulled a lot of entitled stunts over the course of her life. I probably have over 100 stories that I can share that I know of. I don't talk to that part of the family because it's toxic as fuck, but there are a few family gatherings in which we meet. One of those happened yesterday, and I got reminded of her golden trays, so thought you would enjoy raging with me. Her entitlement shone yesterday as she tried to make herself the best friend of my current boss, who's married to my cousin and he's filthy rich, brought a friend of hers who was supposed to be strictly quarantined because she is high risk, tried to outshine the 1-month-old baby who we were all there to meet with her already grown-up daughters who we've all met, tried to become the host of the party in a house that wasn't hers, going as far as to search and serve food from the refrigerator that wasn't destinated to the party servings, and to top it all off, we were also there to pray for my cousin's mother who died last week. I don't participate in Christian stuff, but she was my favorite aunt and like a second mother to me, so the moment of appreciation was very important to me, to my cousin, my other aunt, and Mary's husband, his sister. Turns out Mary decided that since we were there to remember the dead ones, it would be a nice thing to not only take the role of the main person leading the prayers, but to also include a picture, a big one, of her mother that she pulled out of her purse and put it in front of my aunt's picture, covering it almost completely, and start with a speech of her, of how she missed her mother, who died 10 years ago, and literally just say a rip about my aunt's death. But I'm not here today to tell you that story. Oh no, I was just venting. Since I have so much to tell and so little time, I figured it would be best if I started with the oldest tale I know of. The time she asked my mom to sell her my brother while she was 4 months pregnant. Good old Mary is infertile. She has 2 daughters. One was conceived in vitro and then introduced into her womb. The other one popped out of nowhere. Literally. We suspect she bought it out from someone, since she has a record of trying this, but whatever. Before having her first daughter, when I was around 10 years old, my mom broke the news to the family that she was pregnant. Yay. Mary wasn't happy with this because she, as of then, had been trying 4 years with her husband and wasn't able to get pregnant. She always had this sort of competition with my mom, and with everyone, because she has this need of being the best one in everything. She must have the most money, have the expensiest clothes, being more successful in her career, having the happiest marriage, going to the most exotic places, but she wasn't the best. She was the only one with no children out of the 7 siblings of the family, my aunts and uncles, and she was also one of the oldest wives. So imagine her jealousy when the youngest one, directly below her husband, was going to have a second child while her and her husband were still child-free. The horror. Her status. So, she put my mother aside one day and told her, you know, it isn't fair that you get pregnant before us. It wasn't fair for you to have Op before your brother, since he's older than you, but whatever, it can't be helped if Op was a broken condom or something. But you know, we've been trying 4 years now and we are just exhausted. And we are not comfortable with trying those artificial methods, nor having a baby without our blood. So, since you're farming and we know you are not in a financial position to take care of another baby right now, what would you say if I offered to pay for everything pregnancy related, and after the baby is born I would pay you amount for keeping it as your brother's and I's baby? Of course my mom said no. She told me roughly how the proposition went years later, but only because I was the one that found out why she was so pushy about buying my brother, because this wasn't just a one-time thing. No, she tried constantly to convince my parents to sell them my brother throughout the next 5 months, and even for some months after he was born. You see, my father is a son of immigrants. He has European bloodline and is very handsome. Mary also has a need of proving to everyone that she has royal blood, and aesthetics are everything to her. Hence the need to show herself as the best of the best in every aspect of her life. And she will not hesitate to do anything to achieve her goal of being the perfect woman with the perfect life. This includes pretending she has white genes. She doesn't. We live in a very heavily race-mixed country. She was born in one of the least developed states, in a humble family, in a small town, with only town people, that has been working under the sun for generations, so all of them have dark skin. She married my uncle, who comes from a family that has lived in an island for generations, and who is also the most dark-skinned one of all of the siblings. There is no way she is going to have a baby who is white. But, my mom is one of the most light-skinned between her siblings. And she married my dad, who has Italian and Polish genes. And I was born with a very pale skin and smooth hair. Mary's and her husband's hair are what we describe as bad hair. Not in an offensive way, but that's how it's called here. It's basically super twisted and thick hair. There was a big chance my brother was going to be born European looking. You already know where this is going, right? One day, I was minding my own business while in their daughter's birthday party, and I happened to wander close to where Mary was talking with someone. Didn't know her. And I heard how she openly complained about how her daughter was black, and how she wished she managed to convince my mom and dad to just give her their baby, because having a white son would solved all of her problems. It is so hard to move up the stairs of society when you have a black family, and not only that, but having an ugly daughter isn't going to help either. There's no way she will marry a rich man. How is she supposed to pay her retirement? There was more said, but I can't remember it all. And yes, my uncle approves of her behavior and patronizes it. They, two dark-skinned people, believe in white supremacy. Me and my siblings are gingers. Light skin, light eyes, freckles and red hair. My mother told me a story long ago about what happened to her when I was a toddler. My mom had taken me with her to a store to do some shopping. She said suddenly she was approached by what she figured was a Mexican couple. My mother said the couple wanted to buy me, and of course my mom said no, reported the couple to the store manager, and the manager made the couple leave. I guess no police were called. I remember telling my mother she should have taken the money. I grew up in a dysfunctional household with a raging alcoholic father and an enabling bossy mother who always put me and my siblings on the back burner. My parents were always arguing and fighting over my dad's drinking habit, and us kids were on the sidelines. I like to think that I would have been better off with the Mexican couple. I hate to say this, but it probably isn't. Buying a baby is done all the time, especially for wealthy parent wives. The couple pays for pregnancy expenses. Some even give the pregnant woman apartments, cars, and allowances, which is legal, since it can be argued as covering pregnancy expenses. The birth mother can still say no though, right up till the baby pops out. But, it's common for a birth expenses paycheck to be waiting for her if she follows through and signs over the baby. A big wad of dough for her services in giving them a healthy child. There are entire companies set up to match wealthy couples to birth mothers. Some even target those in vulnerable positions and convince them that giving up the baby is the right thing. It's super shady, hard to regulate, and full of scammers on both sides. I'm not saying all adoption done this way is sketchy, but a lot is. Wealthy people can cut a lot of the red tape involved in adoption by connecting straight to a pregnant individual with minimal state/gov involvement. And since it's a gray area legally, it's hard to control and say what is human trafficking and what is legitimate adoption. This is in the United States of America though. I'm not sure about the rest of the world. That woman is from another planet. Woo. Also, does she actually know that she is black instead of white? It seems like she is in denial, kind of like that kid on Drive Phil, who thought she was white, and was incredibly racist towards her own mom. Also, your English is great. But got a tip for you, on superlative adjective/comparisons. If the adjective is one syllable it is young, younger, youngest. If the adjective is one or two syllables ending in y it is pretty, prettier, prettiest. If the adjective is two syllables or longer it is attractive, more attractive, most attractive. And there are also some irregular ones, but you just need to come across them a couple of times to remember them. For example, but, better, best. The teacher in my heart just had to put this out there. I've noticed that not many people learn this, while it is relatively easy. Your cousin was probably bought on the black market. I hate to break this to you but that's likely what happened. My mom was adopted from Belgium under suspicious circumstances and she wondered if my grandma didn't buy her off the black market or something. I mean, you explained to me why she claimed to know nothing of my biological grandmother, yet her sister would call my mom on her birthday and tell her that she walked down the street she was born on in Belgium. My adopted grandmother and her sister were both from Belgium as well. I mean, how would my great aunt know this unless she and my grandmother knew my biological grandmother? It just seems really fishy to me. I would call the authorities and have them look into this. And by the way, I'm sorry you have such a horrible aunt. If I had been your mom I would have told her to get out of my house and to never come back and to stay away from me and my family. But I'm glad your mom handled it well. But yeah, look into that. You see everywhere now of groups being caught that have/are kidnapping and selling babies to parents like herself. I just read one recently where a girl was sold at the age of 2 and was found and returned at the age of 7, but only after the parents' buyers died in an accident. So I wouldn't be surprised if your aunt did buy from one of these types of people. In any case a lot of the sellers are being caught and all of the babies being searched for. So if it's true it might not be long till they find her second daughter. It also wouldn't hurt to report it to be investigated, just in case. In secret, of course, in case it's false. I feel really bad for Mary's kids. If anyone needs to get away from her toxic behavior, it's definitely them. With both their parents being this toxic, who can they turn to? I hope they at least never hear Mary talking bad about them. Mary shouldn't even be having kids, period. Probably why she can't. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.